Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 17th of October, 2023. Coming up this Tuesday's Rant with Crusty Canuck. Topics will be thoughts in Israel and the protests, why democracy is still a great option, and my suggestions for the future. All that and more come up on the Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. I do swear and smoke cigarettes. So listener discretion is advised. See you in a bit. Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. I had some technical issues in my last video. My apologies, but I still got a lot of downloads, and a lot of people still send me some kind comments and some kind words. So thank you out there to everybody. You guys are awesome, especially my American audience. I've had some kind comments from them too. And if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. And give me the thumbs up there too. I'm not going to sit here and say, please give me a thumbs up. It's just, it helps with the algorithm because of the legislation that's going on in Canada right now, especially my American audience out there. If you do happen to listen to my show and like what you see, please give me a like and give me a comment too. That way it tells the powers that be that we do have Canadian content in this country, and people really do want to pay attention to either me or anybody else for that matter, and more or less just to be left alone. So in this episode, like I mentioned in the title card, thoughts in Israel and the protests, why democracy is still a great option, and my suggestions for the future. So we've all seen the headlines the past week since Thanksgiving in regards to what's happening to Israel, what's happened in Israel per se. Now, I'm not going to sit and take sides in this because I get tired of war. Okay. I really get fucking fed up with war. Like I said, I swear on this show, so brace yourself. I might use some bad words or two. Oh my goodness. But I get really, really fed up when it comes to people taking sides in these battles, especially when it comes to kids and children, facsimiles of adults. I'm not saying little kids. I'm not saying little children. I mean, full-grown adults, functioning adults that act like little kids because their fucking feelings are hurt. Now, I'm going to say this, and I really, really want you, my wonderful audience, to pay attention. We have to stop worrying about religious and racial ideologies. Honestly. I don't know about you, but I was raised in a household where you tolerate faith, where you tolerate religion, where you tolerate people's beliefs. I've said numerous times that I've had people knock on my door, tell me about their gospel. I had some wonderful conversations with a Jehovah's couple there about a month ago. We just talked about life. We talked about the universe. You know, I know they were trying to get me into that God mode, but I gave them the time of day because I just felt like being a good person. And there's nothing wrong with talking to people about religion. Nothing wrong with that. But when you start banging people's faces into the tarmac in the name of whatever figurehead or Lord you have above, you have a problem or they have a problem. You see what I'm getting at here? So regardless of the history between Palestine and Israel or Gaza or Lebanon or the Philistines or the Palestinians or the biblical efforts or the Tova efforts or the Torah efforts or whatever the books in today's religion are called, okay, you got to let people be people. Now, I know the Israeli government has its bad bits. So does the Palestinian government. The Lebanese government has done some terrible things. The Syrian government has done some terrible things. The Egyptian government has done some terrible fucking things. But come on now. In this age of progression, how come we're not progressing to a point where we can just get along? No. We have to hold on to the old animosities one more time. We have to hang on to the old adages again, too. Right? Now, I've looked around on Twitter. I've looked at Rebel News. I've looked at True North's footage of all these protests that have gone Canada-wide, especially in the States, too, of all these Palestinians showing solidarity. Okay, great. There's nothing wrong with backing up your homeland. Trust me, I've watched enough World Cups to understand how many people of all different backgrounds have backed up their homelands. But in the same sense, how come people who live here in Canada, especially second, third generation Canadians, right, still don't appreciate Canada? Why is that? Why is that so hard? Right? Like I hear words like decolonization and colonialism. Well, you open up your wallet, you've got a piece of colonialism in there. It's called money. It's called currency. It's called cash, right? You don't like that, then denounce colonialism by getting rid of your cash. I'm not going to sit and justify what the monarchies did many moons ago, nor am I going to try to validate what they did. I personally don't think we need a monarchy in this country anymore. I personally don't think that we have to answer to any kind of king or queen or any kind of royal assent or royal appointment. I personally believe we should have a governor general that's elected, not selected. Right? That's just me, though. But when I hear people talk about colonization, decolonization, what exactly are you trying to decolonize? What exactly are you trying to make in the process? Regardless of what empire was in charge back in the 1940s, whatever powers it be who gave the Jews a homeland again, what I understand from the time when I went to church as a kid, right, it was a holy land for all, right? Not just the Jews, not just the Palestinians, but for everybody who wanted those lands and looking for something, right? Maybe I'm way off. I don't know. I'm really not really sure of my theology at the moment. I really didn't give it a chance because I personally am not a believer. I'm not. That's just me, though, ladies and gentlemen. What say you? Once again, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe and share this podcast all over your social media platforms if you can too. You can also find me on these various channels here. I'll just cue up the card here. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, now X, the Instagram, the Tube, and on Rumble. And if you want to subscribe some more, get some more information, you can check out my website at www.crustycanuck.ca. I have a bio in there and links to where you'd like to donate. And a correction too, there is an application on my support section in my description where it's the askme.com and it's Crusty Canuck Pod and all that too. Apparently it's not working. Okay. And I was sold this idea via my email from the Gmail there, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com. And apparently it's not working. I guess it's not open to Canadians yet, according to the one of the CEOs of this company. So click on it. If it doesn't work for you, my apologies. I'm going to get rid of it eventually and try to sign something else. The thing being is that there was individuals that I guess work for this company. They liked the podcast and they wanted me to try this out. I tried it out and I guess it's not working for Canadians. I don't know what it is. I don't know what gave them the idea that I was an American. The obvious, but I'm not dissing the franchise. I just, if you're going to sell me something and try to say we're going to help you, then make goddamn sure the tools you have are really helping. If I need a hammer, don't hand me a stone, hand me a hammer. You know what I mean? Anyway, without further ado, I did a little survey there a little while back on my community page. And I basically asked the questions. And I'll sort up here too. I don't know if you guys can see it properly, but it's right here with the red check mark. Who would be a better or the ideal prime minister of Canada? And of course, I put my name there, Crusty Canuck, Justin Sock Puppet Trudeau, the guy who dances for quarters and smokes at the bus stop, the socialist who hates capitalism but loves his or her acrylics, and the female mud wrestler who enjoys homemade liquor and long walks. And surprisingly enough, I got 59%. So I guess I won that survey, needless to say, too. And 12% of you actually voted for the guy who dances for quarters at the bus stop. Nobody voted for the socialist. Thank God for that. But surprisingly enough, another 29% voted for the female mud wrestler who would enjoy homemade liquor and long walks. So I guess it's safe to assume that this survey was good to go. And I guess I won. So, okay, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. And pay attention to my community page too, where I'll probably add maybe another survey of some sort of the same nature. And I'll be right back after this, ladies and gentlemen.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And we're back to the Crusty Canuck podcast, the Tuesday Rant. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and I'm in a bit of a better mood today, not like the last time where I was screaming high in heaven. Like I said, topics will be thoughts on Israel and the protests, why democracy is still a great option, and my suggestions for the future. And I'm going to carry on more with the Israel stuff there too. One more time, if you do like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, and give me a comment or two. Give me a thumbs up. And share this stuff all over your social media platforms too. Let us help our fellow Canadians get the algorithm out there. And a special thank you to Northern Perspective. Sorry, guys, I missed your show there on Sunday. I was a little overwhelmed. I'm busy with other things around the house. But if you guys can, please check out Northern Perspective. They're a powerhouse couple out of Ontario. Good people, family people. He works, she looks after the family. And they just have some really good down-to-earth common sense approaches to things and how they put their videos together. So if you get a chance, check out Northern Perspective. I'll leave a link in the description, which I always do. Click on their work. You will not be disappointed. Just their analytical nature and just their vocabulary is fucking superior. They're just good people altogether. We've had many a talk. I've been a guest in their show. They've been a guest on my show. We go back and forth every so often, and we just chit chat, shoot the shit. I've never seen their faces. Not that I need to. It's just they're really down to earth people. And I highly suggest that you check them out and subscribe today too. That's Northern Perspective, just an analytical couple that really do a good job getting the truth out there for people that want to know. Now, we may disagree on certain subjects. I'm more libertarian based. They're definitely a little more conservative, but in the same sense, we can agree to disagree and still get along and maybe share a cup of coffee someday. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, carrying on with this episode of the Tuesday Rant, I put a new title up there too because I figured I had to. Please let me know in the comments what you think about it. It did cost me a few dollars, but it was worth it. So I hope I don't copyright infringe on anybody. That was not my intent, just to have a little more eye candy there to make things go a little smoother. So like I said about Israel, let them be. Palestine, let them be. My concern here in Canada is the fact that there's people rooting for this and rooting for that. And I hear about picking a side. No, I pick a side for peace. I pick a side for proper tolerance. You do you, you do you, I do me. We get along. We've got victory. Hey, shit simple. Shit simple. Because I've seen enough of the human filth of warfare. I don't want to see any more of it. I don't want to see it here either. And I'm sure you, my wonderful audience, don't want to see it on your doorstep. To my American listeners out there, you don't want to see it in your doorstep. So let's not pick a side, and let's pick a side for democracy. Eh? What a novel idea. And regardless of how imperfect democracy is, you still have a chance in democracy. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you sit on the liberal side, or the conservative side, or the libertarian side, or the Bloc Québécois side, or the NDP, borderline commie side, to my American friends, the Democrat side, or the Republican side. You still have a fighting chance to get where you want to go. However, on both sides of the border, I'm also seeing a lot of government overreach when it comes to what we do on here, what we do with these things, what we do with this, where we use our brains and try to write something down, when we try to create something. We still have to fight for that. Freedom of speech is essential. Freedom of expression is essential, right? I myself, I would like to see a little more freedoms when it comes to our firearms and when it comes to people that produce things, i.e. factories, i.e. the natural resources sector. But I'll save that for another episode. So the importance of our democracy is that we can get out and we can still protest. But we have to get rid of these bureaucrats and these so-called know-it-alls who want to pick and choose what protest we are allowed to do, right? When you see the likes of people supporting Hamas, okay, are they supporting Palestinians or they're supporting Hamas? Hamas is a terrorist organization. So is Hezbollah, eh? So is the Taliban. So is ISIS. Terrorist organizations. Now, if you have sympathy for that, as much as I bite my fucking lip, and like I said, I believe in freedom of expression and freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Free speech, period. Hands down. And I don't care if there's some kid in the University of Calgary or University of or Wilfrid Laurier University, clenching their pearls, going, "How dare you say that, Crusty Canuck?" Time to grow a pair, get out of your safe space, put your cookies down, grab a head of lettuce, and go walk about 10K. Because this is reality. Okay? Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right, or doesn't mean you're wrong either. But I think you get my point. So let the protest happen peacefully. We had that big protest about a year and a half ago in Ottawa. And look how many people cringed and shat their pants over that garbage because they couldn't understand there was Canadians getting tired of the BS. Right? So as long as you do something peacefully in this country, it should be fine. Right? And now every major politician is weighing in on what's happening to Israel. And, it's good leadership. But when I look at some of those politicians, that's a little too fucking late. Okay? Sorry for the fuck. But I'm sure they're pissing you off because they're sure as hell pissing me off.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
We're back on the Tuesday rant for the 17th of October, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back if you've just returned. I'm Crusty Canuck, your host. And another thank you out there to all my new subscribers that have subscribed to me on the Rumble application. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Really good. Really impressed. And thank you for the comments, too, I'm receiving on the Rumble application, too. But like I say, if you enjoy what you see and hear, please give me a thumbs up. I'm not going to beg. It really helps with the algorithm, ladies and gentlemen. And it gets my work out there, and it gets other podcasters' work out there, especially us Canucks, our Canadian-based podcast, too, because the powers that be that sit in Ottawa right now are constantly worrying about saying, we're going to promote Canadian content, when we all bloody know they're going to promote the Canadian content that they want to see and push out there, not what you and I make or what our friends make, So it's a biased platform they're trying to promote to save a few bucks to keep the mainstream media with a few dollars in their pockets, even though they're subsidized by the taxpayers in this country heavily. But I digress. Anyway, carrying on again, too, with this episode 236, thoughts on Israel protests and why democracy is still a good option, and my suggestions for the future. So I'm going to jump right into my suggestions for the future. Democracy can be tough, yes, but it's all about choices and having the ability to make those choices and making sure that there's no more red tape and bureaucrats are pushed aside, because we're too top heavy with bureaucrats and politicians. We need more community leaders. We need more provincial leaders that want to get things done, that want you to keep money in your pocket and keep money in my pocket and make some money while we're at it too. Minimal taxation. I got I'm planning a whole episode for the CRA anyway. I'm going to talk to some people at the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, try to get some insights from them, but stay tuned for that. It might be in the next month or so, but I'll be getting into that later. Excuse me. Pardon me. Too many cigarettes. Anyway, my suggestion for the future is this. We as the Canadian people, and to my American friends, you as the American people too, we both have working democracies. Working meaning we can do what we're doing right now. We can put people in office. We can pull people out of office. Doesn't matter if it's the Senate. Doesn't matter if it's the governors. Doesn't matter if it's the premiers. Doesn't matter if it's the prime minister. Doesn't matter if it's this riding or that riding or this district or that district. We have the power to do that. The power of don stylo, power of the pen. I have a pen around here someplace, right? Power of one of these. Old-fashioned letter writing, old-fashioned emails. I can't believe I said old-fashioned emails. But you get my point, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? You get my point. And then we can protest. Right? A lot of these websites that are popping up right now in Canada, especially when it comes to taxpayers, there's tons of petitions out there that we, the Canadian people, can sign and voice our opinion too. This platform here, we can do that as well. So we have to keep voicing our opinions, voicing our voices, getting the words out there, letting people know this is what's going on and we have to do something about it. The best way to do it is peacefully. I don't believe in taking up arms right away and kicking ass, taking names, because it'd be onslaught in the streets and that doesn't look pretty. But I do believe in simple communication. keeping things realistic, keeping it down to earth. Now, Pierre Poilievre likes to say common sense, and, he's got a point, okay? But I made this point before, though, too, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of how much him and his party are gaining traction, he is still a career politician. And history has proven when you have career politicians, you got to look at what they've done. Now, my American friends, you have a president that's been a career politician for the better part of what, maybe 50, 55 years? And he's closer to 80. And now he's president. Okay, I guess you can say he worked really hard, but what's he doing? Now, he's going to arrive in Israel tomorrow, apparently. There's going to be some kind of a big thing, some big issue with that. Now, I don't really understand. I really don't mind. It's no big deal. But we have to watch carefully. And us Canucks, we got to watch who we put in office again. So if they do call an election within the next 6 months, due diligence on our part on who we want representing us. And we have to have due diligence in regards to who is going to really work for us. And I mean work, not just the notion of throwing the tie over your shoulder and rolling up the sleeves saying, let's get the hard work done. Somebody who's willing to work. Somebody who's not afraid to wade through the swamp. Somebody who's not afraid to shovel the shit and get rid of the garbage. Right? Simple things like that. Right? I might run again for the Veterans Coalition Party. I don't know. I'm weighing the odds here too. I have other commitments that are in the works. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of writing. I've written a couple of screenplays, so I'm trying to get one of them sold. Right? Trying to get it produced. I'll just say right now to you, my wonderful audience, it's a Canadian-based story. It deals with love, deals with violence, deals with personal demons, and how to overcome it. And it's a period piece too. We'll leave it there for now. There's a few people I know that have looked at it and liked it and are trying to give me a hand with it, but resources are limited, meaning cash flow. But I'm not going to sit here and beg you for money. I'll put a page or something together there later, but make a long story short, the creative process is working. The juices are flowing and the hamster wheels are churning, to say the least. But there's something in the works there too. Another suggestion for the future is this simple. We got to see more Canucks standing up for what's right. And I'm not talking about a violent stance. I don't want to see violence. Violence is the last resort. The last resort. Because I've seen enough, and I'm sure some of you, my veteran brothers, have seen enough too. My veteran sisters. And when people keep talking about violence, they're mixing it up. They think bad words are violent. When you drop an F-bomb, oh, that's violent. So if I tap somebody in the shoulder and I go, boo, does that give you a concussion? Is that the logic we're dealing with right now? And in some cases, there are people out there and educators that think words are violence. Violence is an action. If I'm standing there waiting for a bus and I ask somebody for the time, does that make me aggressive or does that make me inquisitive? Interesting. What an idea. If I'm walking down the street and I go, good morning, does that make me aggressive or does that make me kind? In some cases, there are people out there that think both. Oh, you're being kind, but you're being too aggressive. So which is it? And my friends at Northern Perspective and other podcasters have talked about this whole words is violence BS. And if I go my way and I grab somebody and I insult them and give them the old, fucking old military instructor adage, okay, I'm being a little aggressive and I'm insulting them, but in no way am I being violent. I have to hit them or smack them with something hard to be violent. So we have to have some administrators and leaders out there that are not going to tolerate this wokeism, this postmodernist bullshit, and this Marxist mandate garbage, okay? And we're going to have to tell these educators, too, to smarten up as well as the bureaucrats that govern them, okay? That's my thoughts for the future, too, to stand firm. Because when you look at the post-secondary institutions in this country, it's big business, too. A lot of big business, a lot of tuition fees, a lot of those fees, these hidden fees, those fees, not to mention the ridiculous salaries that some of these professors like to make. Right? So we have to be due diligent with that too, because there's a lot of government money that goes in the bigger schools. So I just sit back and I laugh when a lot of these students sit and protest big oil and big pharma, but they love big pharma when it comes to jibby jab, and they like big oil when they turn the heat and lights on, right? But it's terrible for the environment. How can the government do this? Yet that same government helps you with your tuitions, i.e., student loans, and of course, keeping certain faculties open in the name of charity. Oh, lovely. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And another point of the future is more of a libertarian based classical liberalism, meaning you do you, I do me, and we just get along. I don't care who you love. I don't care what you kiss. I don't care what you promise to give a kiss. What I care about is that you can just live your life and thrive by your means or by what you merit for. Work hard to get ahead. And I'm in agreement when it comes to Pierre Poilievre, when it comes to, okay, stop penalizing hard work. Okay. In my job, I do anywhere from 45 to 50 plus hours a week. Okay. I'm up at dark stupid. I get home at a relatively decent time. It usually averages out about 9 hours and 10 hours shift. Okay. And I get paid a good wage and I work for good people and it's good, solid work. But I'm also at a point in my life too, where do I have to keep working like this until I'm 65 to get ahead? Or can I keep working like this and hope that we have some political guts to tell these guys, quit cutting out of my check and let me keep what I earn? Because I believe I'm working my ass off for my money. You work your ass off for your money. To the academics out there, you work your ass off to get the dissertation, to get the essays in, to get your words formulated so you can present it and show your instructors that you're not a moron, earning something. You know what I mean? To the musicians out there that write great music, open up the floodgates, let some of these artists shine, right? Little things like that add up. So let's get rid of some of the bureaucracy. Let's get rid of the appointees and start appointing people ourselves by voting, by electing, by hiring people that have the qualifications and not just the look or how they identify. Proper meritocracy is key. Doesn't matter where this individual is from. Doesn't matter what that individual does with his or her lifestyle. Can they do the work? Can they dig that hole? Can they wire that wall? Can they put those lights up? Can they design a good deck? Right? Can they fix your truck? Can they fix your tractor? Can they fix your car? Great. Perfect. Can they lead a community to victory? Can they coach a hockey team, a lacrosse team, a soccer team, a football team? Well, good. They've earned it. Gained experience. Enough of this woke crap about lived experience. We obviously know you're alive if you have an experience. You don't have to emphasize that adjective of saying lived experience. Well, I hope it's a lived experience because it'd suck if it was a deceased experience, right? Anyhow, I know a bad joke. Like I'm saying, I'm not going to sit and wish for a utopia. There's no such thing as a utopia. Okay? But there is perseverance and democracy works. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than commie lifestyle, better than fascist lifestyles, better than socialism. And I bet you there's some kids sitting there cringing right now going, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. Oh no. You could have a quasi-socialized system, but when you look at Canadian socialized medicine right now, it's not that good because you got a lot of administrators that are holding on to old glory who refuse to hire or rehire some of the people they let go during the pandemic in the name of the jibby jab, right? And some of you people know who you are too, who've done that. So something to think about, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Anyhow, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful Tuesday, 17th of October, 2023. Things are getting a little cooler. So stock up on your lumber if you need it, or stock up on some food stores, what have you. Once again, thank you to everybody out there who has given me a good thumbs up in the last episode. Thank you for sticking around. Pardon my audio issues here. I had some computer problems there, but thank you nonetheless for sticking around, helping us out. And we always have to remember, too, that the more these people talk about how they deserve this, they deserve that, we can always remind them that they deserve
absolutely nothing.
Precisely. But like I said, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 17th of October, 2023. Things are getting a bit cooler, so get your warm clothes out. Do whatever odd yard work you have to get done. Look after your friends and loved ones. Help your neighbors out when you can. And just try to keep our chins up, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's tough for a lot of people out there. It's tough for my wife and I, too. We're trying to get ahead. So we're slowly we're getting the momentum. It's getting there. Try to keep the debts down and just try to keep our head above water to the best of our ability. And like I say, do what you can to help each other out in these trying times. Help your neighbors out. Go out of your way to maybe give somebody a ride or whatever. Just try to be as charitable as you see fit. Just try to be good. But like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. And I'll see you this coming Saturday. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worth.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.